Welcome to my channel, Spooky Stories. Have you ever driven on a dark road at night where the silence feels too loud and every shadow looks alive? That strange fear, that feeling that someone might be watching you, it's real for many people who crossed these highways. Tonight, we're exploring 10 creepy roads that have scared travelers, confused drivers, and left people shaken long after they returned home. These places look normal in daylight, but at night, they change into something you'll never forget. If you enjoyed these spine-chilling stories, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Spooky Stories for more terrifying adventures. 1. Clinton Road, West Milford, New Jersey, USA. On a crisp autumn night in October, I drove down Clinton Road in West Milford, New Jersey, a place whispered about in stories of hauntings, glowing apparitions, and people who vanish without a trace. I wanted proof. The moment my tires touched the pavement, the air seemed to thicken, pressing against my chest. The trees arched overhead like a warning, and I found my hands tightening around the steering wheel as the road snaked deeper into the woods. 15 minutes in, I saw a figure standing at the roadside, still, silent, almost human. I slowed to help, but as I rolled closer, the shape simply dissolved into darkness. No footsteps, no movement, only emptiness. I blinked, told myself it was fatigue, but dread settled into my stomach like ice. Then came the bridge locals call the Witch's Crossing. I didn't believe the stories, not yet, but the moment I began to cross, my radio erupted with static, snarls, and then a whisper, one that sounded like my name. I slammed the brakes, heart punching against my ribs, searching the silence outside my window. Only my own breathing answered back. I pushed forward anyway. Fresh skid marks cut into the dirt ahead, sharp, recent, but with no car, no tracks leading out. Something wasn't right. My instincts yelled to turn around, yet something unseen pulled me on. A burst of pale light slashed across the road, too fast to understand, too bright to ignore. I shut my eyes, and when they opened again, the road was empty, calm, as if nothing had ever been there. When I finally reached the end of Clinton Road, I parked and let the silence settle. My knuckles were white, my pulse uneven. Was it shadows and nerves, or something real? Months have passed, yet I still hear that voice in the back of my mind on quiet nights, soft, familiar, calling me back. Clinton Road isn't just legend, it's a boundary between what we believe and what waits beyond. 2. Bragg Road, Ghost Road, Hardin County, Texas, USA. A friend had cautioned me against venturing onto Bragg Road solo, claiming it was cursed with unearthly happenings under the cover of night. Naturally, my intrigue won out. One fateful Friday evening, I set out alone, and as my wheels crunched onto the dirt path, an icy shiver traced my spine. The forest pressed in densely, branches clawing at the edges, with only faint moonlight piercing the gloom to guide me. Deeper in, elusive shadows darted along the edges of the road. I dismissed them as wildlife, perhaps deer or foxes, but their motions were unnervingly precise, too purposeful for mere animals. My pulse quickened, though I clung to rationality. Then, inexplicably, fresh tire tracks etched the earth ahead, with no vehicle anywhere to account for them. I halted, stepped out, and strained to hear anything amid the oppressive stillness. No wind, no rustle, just an unnatural hush. Out of nowhere, deliberate footsteps echoed from behind, grinding against the ground with measured intent. I whipped around, empty void. My breath caught, chest constricting like a vice. I scrambled back into the car, slamming the locks, fighting to steady my nerves. That's when I spotted it. A fresh, dripping handprint smeared across the windshield, as if an invisible palm had just withdrawn. I fled the scene, engine roaring to life through trembling fingers, desperate to escape the surreal horror. Flickering lights danced in the distance, sourceless in the barren dark. No homes, no lamps, just the void mocking me. I recall yelling aloud in the confined space, vowing eternal avoidance. But the climax came at the road's terminus. A glance in the rearview revealed a solitary silhouette planted mid-path, eyes fixed on my retreat. A blink, and it evaporated. To this day, Bragg Road defies explanation in my mind. In the dead of night, phantom murmurs invade my slumber, or an unseen touch grazes my skin. It's no ordinary haunted stretch. It's a crucible forging raw terror, shattering sanity and perception. Passing nearby still knots my insides, resurrecting that evening when Bragg Road unveiled fears buried deep within. 3 Taborton Road, Rensselaer County, New York, USA. For years, I heard whispers about Taborton Road, stories of ghostly figures, strange lights, and engines dying for no reason. One crisp fall night, curiosity outweighed every warning, and I drove out there alone. Cold wind clawed through the trees, pale branches stretching like skeletal hands over the winding pavement. From the very first mile, a heavy silence settled around me, alive, pulsing, wrong. Around 15 minutes in, my headlights caught movement at the tree line. I expected a deer. Instead, a tall, narrow figure stood watching me, perfectly still. My grip on the wheel tightened. I blinked once, and it vanished. No footsteps, no rustling leaves, just emptiness. My heart hammered like fists against my ribs. The farther I went, the darker the canopy became, smothering, endless. Then my radio exploded with static. A low whisper bled through the distortion, saying my name. My whole body locked. I tried to reason with myself. Wind, interference, imagination, but deep down, I knew better. Soon, the abandoned shack everyone talks about appeared, door hanging open like a broken jaw, windows black as pitch. As I crept past, something moved inside. Too fast, too shadowed to be human. A surge of nausea hit me and I slammed the accelerator. That was when headlights ignited behind me, bright, flickering, aggressive. No engine, no sound, no car. I refused to look back, I just drove. When the road finally ended, I could barely breathe. Even back on normal streets, an insidious feeling clung to me, like something had followed. Months later, I still wake to footsteps in the dark. Voices whisper at the edge of sleep. Taborton Road isn't folklore. It's an intrusion. Once it finds you, it never leaves. 4 River Street, Riverwalk, Savannah, Georgia, USA. For years, River Street in Savannah whispered tales I couldn't resist, ghostly figures, strange echoes, and shivers that seemed to appear from nowhere. One twilight, curiosity outweighed caution, and I wandered there alone. The cobblestones glistened from a recent rain. The river's briny tang mingled with something faintly metallic. Lamps overhead sputtered erratically, some fading into darkness. I shrugged it off at first, but then a subtle rasp followed me, a slow scrape, like chains being dragged across stone. My pulse jumped. I spun around. Nothing. Only fog curling from the river, wrapping around the buildings like ghostly fingers. I pressed onward. A sudden Arctic chill swept over me, far colder than the autumn breeze. Murmurs drifted just beyond comprehension. I froze, pulling my jacket tight. My boots felt rooted to the stones. Ahead, the abandoned depot loomed, its windows black, door hanging open like a broken jaw. Something moved along the wall, tall, fleeting, humanoid. Too fast, too shadowed to be human. My stomach turned. I floored the pedal, desperate to escape. Then the riverbank drew me closer. I peered over the edge. In the murky water, a hazy, diaphanous form stared back. My chest heaved. I scrambled back, never daring to look behind. By the time I left River Street, Savannah's ordinary avenues felt surreal. The city wasn't just haunted, it breathed, carrying the weight of every sorrow and specter that had ever walked its streets. Even now, sunlight or shadow, that encounter clings. I wonder, do Savannah's phantoms still watch? 5. A75 Kinmount Strait, Dumfries and Galloway, Scotland. I was driving through Dumfries and Galloway on a cold, foggy evening when I reached the A75 Kinmount Strait. The locals had warned me about this road, strange lights, phantom vehicles, and drivers disappearing without a trace. I laughed it off at first, thinking it was just superstition, but as soon as I entered the long, empty stretch, a heavy feeling settled over me. The road seemed endless. Thick fog rolled in from the fields, and the only sound was the hum of my tires on the asphalt. My headlights cut through the gray mist, but beyond that, everything was a blur. I remember gripping the wheel tightly, telling myself I was fine, but my gut screamed otherwise. About halfway down the straight, I noticed something strange in my rearview mirror. A car following me, far too close for the empty road. I sped up slightly, but no matter how fast I went, it stayed behind me, silent, lights dimmed. My heart pounded, and I realized I had no cell signal. Panic began to rise. Then, out of nowhere, a figure appeared on the road ahead. At first, I thought it was a hitchhiker, but as I approached, the figure vanished into the fog. My stomach dropped, and I swerved slightly, barely keeping control of the car. I could feel my pulse in my temples. Moments later, the car behind me disappeared entirely, leaving nothing but fog and silence. I slowed, shaking, unsure if I had imagined it all. Every instinct told me to leave immediately, and I did, my hands white from gripping the wheel, my heart still racing long after I reached the next town. Even now, whenever I think about Kinmount Strait, I feel that cold chill creeping up my spine. That road is not just a stretch of asphalt. It's a place where reality feels fragile, where fear waits for every driver alone at night. And sometimes, I swear I can still see that vanishing figure in the corner of my vision, reminding me that A75 Kinmount Strait never truly lets go of those who pass through.
6E8 Karak Highway, Malaysia. It was late at night when I found myself driving on the E8 Karak Highway in Malaysia. I had heard countless warnings from locals, stories of ghostly apparitions, sudden accidents, and vehicles that vanished without a trace. I thought it was just exaggeration, but as soon as I entered the highway, a heavy sense of unease settled in my chest. The road stretched endlessly through the dark hills, the trees lining the sides like silent sentinels. The only sound was my engine humming, and every now and then the wind howled through the mountains. I remember gripping the steering wheel tightly, my knuckles turning white, telling myself it was just the night and fog playing tricks on me. About 30 minutes in, I saw a woman in white standing on the shoulder. At first, I thought she needed help, but when I slowed down, she disappeared. Not into the trees, simply vanished into thin air. My heart jumped, and I forced myself to keep driving, telling myself it was my eyes playing tricks in the fog. Then, my headlights caught something else, an old car parked in the middle of the road. Its lights were off, and the doors were slightly open. I felt my stomach churn with dread. I wanted to stop, but instinct screamed at me to keep going. As I passed, I glanced in my rearview mirror, and the car was gone, completely gone. Further down, I noticed faint tire marks that seemed to appear out of nowhere, and every time I looked around, the fog seemed to thicken. My palms were sweaty, and my heart raced like never before. When I finally reached a small town at the end of the highway, I pulled over, trembling, trying to calm myself. Even now, months later, I can't forget that night. E8 Karak Highway isn't just a road. It's a place where the line between reality and fear blurs. A highway where the shadows seem alive, and every driver alone at night feels its haunting presence. 7. Toon Mon Road, Hong Kong. I was driving on Tuen Mun Road late one night, heading back from a friend's place in Hong Kong. I had heard rumors, people disappearing, cars crashing mysteriously, and ghost sightings along the steep cliffs. At first, I laughed, thinking it was just local superstition, but as soon as I entered the road, a strange tension settled over me, like the mountains themselves were watching. The road is narrow, twisting, with sharp turns that seem endless. Fog had started rolling in, thick and low, making it nearly impossible to see beyond the headlights. My heart pounded with every curve, and I found myself gripping the wheel tighter, feeling a growing sense of dread. Halfway through, I noticed a figure standing by the side of the road, a woman, pale, wearing what looked like a traditional white dress. My first thought was that she needed help, but when I slowed down, she vanished. No footprints, no sound, nothing. My chest tightened, and I could barely breathe. As I drove on, my car suddenly felt heavier, almost as if it was being held back by something unseen. I heard whispers, faint but clear enough to make my skin crawl. I glanced at the rearview mirror and caught a glimpse of another vehicle behind me, headlights dim, moving too slowly, almost floating. When I looked again, it was gone. Near one of the sharpest bends, I saw lights flashing ahead, like a car was signaling me, but when I reached the spot, the road was completely empty. My pulse raced, and I knew I had to get out of there fast. I pressed the accelerator and finally reached a safe, well-lit part of the city. Even now, driving on Tuen Mun Road in daylight gives me chills. It's not just a road, it's a place where fear feels real, where the past seems to linger, and where every shadow could be more than just darkness. That night, I realized some roads are alive, and Tuen Mun Road is one of them.
8. National Highway 33, NH33, Jharkhand, India. It was a late evening when I was driving alone on NH33 in Jharkhand. The highway is long and mostly empty at night, and locals had warned me about strange sightings, sudden shadows, and unexplained accidents. I thought it was just rumors, but the moment I entered the stretch near the dense forest, a heavy feeling settled over me, making my chest tighten. The road ahead was barely visible, dimly lit by my headlights. Tall trees on either side swayed in the wind, casting eerie shadows that seemed to move of their own accord. I tried to focus on the road, but I could feel my pulse racing, every sound amplified. The crunch of gravel, the rustle of leaves, even the echo of my own breathing. About 20 minutes in, I saw a figure standing on the roadside. It looked like a man, completely still, staring at me. My instincts screamed to slow down, but as I approached, he vanished. No footprints, no movement, nothing to explain his presence. My stomach churned, and I forced myself to keep driving, hoping it was just my imagination. Then my car headlights caught something strange, several glowing orbs floating along the side of the road. They moved slowly, but with a purpose, as if guiding me. I felt a shiver run down my spine. I wanted to look away, but curiosity held me. One of the orbs seemed to follow my car, drifting alongside for a few seconds before vanishing into the darkness. The scariest part came near a deserted bend where locals say accidents are frequent. My engine suddenly stuttered, the lights flickered, and I felt an intense pressure on the car, like something invisible was holding me back. I pressed the accelerator with all my might, and finally, I reached a small town safely. Even now, I can't forget that night on NH33. It's not just a highway, it's a place where fear feels real, where the unknown lurks in every shadow, and where every driver alone at night becomes part of its story. That stretch of road left a mark on me, one I can't shake no matter how far I drive from it. 9. Bloods Point Road, Boone County, Illinois, USA.
I had heard about Bloodspoint Road from several friends, each telling stories that made my skin crawl. They spoke of ghostly figures, strange lights, and even people who vanished without a trace. One late October evening, I decided to see it for myself. The moment I turned onto the narrow road, a cold wind swept through the trees, and the air felt heavier, almost alive. The road is lined with dense forest on either side. The moonlight barely reached the asphalt, creating long, shifting shadows that seemed to move as I drove. My heart raced with every curve, and I kept checking my rearview mirror, half expecting to see something staring back at me. About 10 minutes in, I saw a figure standing in the middle of the road, a woman, pale, wearing tattered clothes. My first instinct was to stop, but fear held me frozen. As I blinked, she vanished, not behind the trees, just gone. My chest tightened, and I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles ached. Further down, I noticed strange tire marks on the roadside, fresh-looking but leading into nowhere. I tried to convince myself it was just someone playing a prank, but my gut told me otherwise. Then came the whispers, soft, almost inaudible, like someone was calling my name from the darkness. I froze, afraid to move, every nerve in my body on high alert. Near an old, abandoned farmhouse, I saw flickering lights inside, even though I knew the place had been empty for decades. I wanted to turn around, but the road seemed to stretch endlessly behind me. I pressed the accelerator, my heart pounding, until finally I reached a well-lit street at the end of Bloodspoint Road. Even now, months later, I can't forget that night. Bloodspoint Road isn't just a haunted road. It's a place where fear feels tangible, where shadows have a life of their own, and where every driver alone at night becomes part of its chilling story. Every time I think about it, I can still feel the icy wind and hear those whispers calling my name. 10. Belschen Tunnel, A2 motorway, Switzerland. I was driving through Switzerland on the A2 motorway late one night when I reached the Belschen Tunnel. I'd heard stories about it, drivers seeing ghostly figures inside, sudden accidents with no explanation, and an eerie feeling that no one could shake. I didn't believe in ghosts, but as I approached the tunnel, a chill ran down my spine. The entrance was dark, even though the tunnel lights were on. As I drove in, the hum of my car seemed unnaturally loud, echoing off the walls. The air felt heavier inside, and I could sense an invisible presence watching. I tried to focus on the road, but every instinct screamed that something was not right. About halfway through, I saw a shadow on the side. At first, I thought it was a pedestrian or a maintenance worker, but it didn't move like a human. It was tall, vague, almost transparent. I blinked, and it vanished. My chest tightened, and I could feel my heartbeat echoing in my ears. Then came the strangest thing. My car headlights flickered, and I felt a sudden pressure on the vehicle, as if something invisible was pressing from above. My hands shook as I gripped the wheel tighter. The tunnel seemed to stretch longer than it should, twisting in ways that didn't make sense. Suddenly, I heard whispers, soft and almost inaudible, like someone was calling my name from the darkness. I froze, afraid to move, every nerve in my body on high alert. Only when I finally reached the end of the tunnel did everything return to normal. The air felt lighter, the road straight and calm, as if the tunnel had never been anything but ordinary asphalt. Even now, months later, I can't drive through the Belschen Tunnel without remembering that night. It's more than a tunnel. It's a place where reality feels fragile, where fear is tangible, and where every driver alone at night senses something watching. That stretch of A2 motorway left me shaken in a way I've never experienced before, and I know its presence lingers, waiting for the next traveler brave or foolish enough to pass through.
That's it for our journey through the world's most haunted highways. Each road hides stories that chill the soul and make you question what's real. From the foggy forests of New Jersey to the winding cliffs of Hong Kong, these roads are more than asphalt. They're gateways to fear, mystery, and the unknown. If you felt the thrill, don't forget to hit the like button, share your favorite story in the comments, and subscribe for more spine-chilling adventures. Remember, these highways wait for the brave. Are you ready to take the next drive?